Hello everyone, it's Finnovation. Now, a lot of you might know that every year for Halloween, we do a display with a bunch of skeletons. And if you don't, you can check out my spooky season playlist. But either way, we use a bunch of these skeletons, and I like them a lot, but they're not very posable. The obvious question is,
there's something that we could do at home to make these guys just a little more lifelike and posable.
yes, we can. In this video, we're going to show you how to make these guys a little bit more posable, and maybe get the arms out a little, bend the neck, things like that. Let's get right into it. So the first place I kind of want to upgrade is his neck, because it is very stiff, and it doesn't look natural when all my skeletons are like. And I kind of want to have, like a nice neck. So the first thing I'm going to do is just take out some screws and see how it actually comes out. Now that the head is off, now we've got to actually get the neck off from the head, and all you've really got to do is give it some force and pop it out. Now it is attached to this string, as you can see there. It's got a string on it, and I'm just going to slice the string off. There we go, and now this should come right out. There we go. Alright, so now I'm kind of going to explain what we're going to do here. So first off, we're going to try to make this a little bit more like an actual human spine. So what we're going to do is I'm actually going to cut this apart, and I'm just going to use that bottom line right there, there, and there, and I'm going to cut that off with a Dremel. So it's going to be like 3 pieces. Then I'm going to run a strong metal wire through it and put some foam in between so it's got some cushion. And basically this is just going to be like a wire so I can move it any way I want. So as you can see, these are all my pieces cut apart. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a wire with a washer and a nut at the bottom. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of get some square pieces of foam and just push them into the inside of this piece of plastic, because it's really hollow on the inside. So as you can see, all I'm doing is I'm just stuffing that with some foam, so it's just like a little bit less wiggly. And after I've got a few pieces in there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move on to the next piece of...
So you're saying that the foam is going to stop it from wiggling but still allow it to bend?
Yep, that's exactly what I'm saying. So again, all I'm doing is I'm just kind of putting a lot of foam in there so that our thing isn't so hollow. Alright, that is much better. So as you can see, you can even probably see from the outside, it's just completely full of packing foam. And my hope is now that it doesn't wiggle as much, and it really doesn't seem like it will. And yeah, there you go. When I start to bend the neck or whatever, totally bends well. And bends the other way really well. This is perfect. Alright, now we just got to put it tight and put a little bit of a nut back at the top. Now that his neck is nice and posable, all we got to do is screw his head back on. Alright, so now as you can see, the neck is back on and our skeleton is assembled. Now if he wants to look down, he can. If he wants to look up, he can. If he wants to look any direction, he can. Now the next thing we're going to do is give this guy a hand. Quite literally. Thank you, thank you. So, skeleton hands on these things really aren't that great. They can't turn this way, their fingers can't move. They're really not the best. So, I'm going to show you how to make like a little skeleton hand out of some wire. The first thing you're going to need to do is cut 5 pieces where you take some thinner wire and you bring it, or some smaller gauge, you bring it to here, and then you can take a Sharpie and just mark that. So for example, if it's right here, you're going to bring it back up almost to your wrist and just put a mark right there so you know where to cut it. And you're going to do that for all your fingers. Alright, so as you guys can see, we have a hand started. And these are all the lengths of my fingers. The thumb, notice that it's a lot longer, and that's because it kind of comes around to like right here, and that's so that I can loop all of these fingers. They each have a little hook on the end that can just slide through there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide them all together, and I'm going to wrap this around a couple times so that my fingers kind of come out like this, kind of like a rake. Alright, so as you can see, my hand, and then this hand, and that is starting to look like an actual hand. Now what we're going to do is add a little loop around the middle so it's a little bit wider, because this looks like it's just coming out like a V or like a rake. And we want a little something in there that holds it so the fingers come out like there instead of where they come out now. So I'm just going to start wrapping it in some tape after I add the little loop. Alright, so now as you guys can see, this thing looks just like a rake. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use some masking tape and start wrapping this thing. And I'm going to use this just because it's almost the right color. And after we spray paint it, it'll look pretty much just like an actual skeleton hand. Alright, so as you guys can see, the hand is done, and ooh, it's so spooky. I love how easy it is to bend, and these ones, they don't bend really at all. You can use a heat gun to bend the ones that are already on here, but this is just so fun and easy to make. And all I really did was took this tape and wrap it around that wire mesh that I made, and now I'm just going to give it a little bit of spray paint to give it the same hue that this is. Alright, now these two hands are pretty close to the same thing. And all I've got, now this one, it's so nice because, again, it's made out of wire. I can bend it any way I want. And for the bottom part, what I did was I got a little loop of wire, I wrapped it around, and then I poked a hole through it after I wrapped it in tape, so it fits in and works just like this one does. So now I can push this back in here, and I can use my screwdriver and just screw it right back in. Now that we've got the hand done, the next thing we're going to fix up is the arm. So the skeleton's arms only goes up and down. You can't bring it over if you want to do something while making a Halloween display. So we're going to fix that. We're going to make it go like this, which will be really helpful. So how we're going to do that is the first thing we're going to do is cut through the bone about right here. Technically, you can do it wherever. Then what we're going to do is we're going to use something that spins. This can really be anything. For us, we're going to be using this. This is just a part I found. I wish I could tell you what it is, but I actually don't know.
And why don't you hold it up so they can get a look?
You can really use anything. You could probably use like just even a nut and bolt, but all you're gonna do, cut this in half, put one end here, find something that spins, and put something here. So this will rotate so that it'll go like this. As you can see, we've got a line here, and now it's time to cut. Alright, now that the bone is cut, what I'm gonna do is try to put this in. And, well, it doesn't quite fit. But what I'm going to use is I'm going to use the Dremel again to get this to be the right shape to fit right inside the bone. So I won't have to use as much glue. And that shouldn't be hard. So I'm basically just going to, again, figure out the size. And I think I'm just going to shave a little off the top here. So I'm going to go for it. Alright, so now that we've got this all Dremeled down, this fits in there almost perfectly. So I'm just going to glue that in. Alright, so as you can see, I have just put this back in. And, so say I had it right here, and my skeleton's arm is in. Normally I'd just be able to go up and down with that joint. But now, say I want it here, I can spin it and he can wave. And that's pretty cool. Now the only thing I'm not sure is this is very spinny. So if I want to have it like right here, it's kind of like a little too spinny. So I'm not sure how I'm going to fix that. Alright, so now here's our solution for it being too spinny. We got a little piece of rubber. This is just a bike inner tube. You really could use anything, probably a piece of tape, but we're just going to use this since it's going to be reusable. So after we slide this back in, we basically just took it apart. Then this can just slide over and hold it in to place. It'll slide over the crack and it'll just hold it right where it is, so it'll be easy. Alright, so his arm is now back together, and we put that piece of rubber over, which again was just a bicycle inner tube, and we spray painted it. But now, as you can see, his arm is not falling down, and if we need to twist it, we can twist it and it'll stay there. But I think the skeleton's looking pretty great.
Skeleton, Finn, that reminds me of a joke.
Oh boy.
What's a skeleton's favorite instrument?
I don't know, what?
The trombone.
Oh, that was horrible. Whatever, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe down below. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!